better sleep with me, or otherwise I'm going to scream rape, and you're gonna go away, basically. And I think he took off. They said, and that's what she did, and they put him in jail for rape, and he had to be on a chain gang, and then he escaped. He ran away. He escaped from the chain gang in prison, and they said we don't know how he found us, but we had moved from the south and moved up to the north, and he found us. And he had found them in Michigan, and lived with them for a while, and then he had got a girlfriend, and then they had argument or something one day, and she ratted on him, and they came and got him and took him back to prison, and then they said their dad had wrote the governor and said, make sure they don't whip my brother, because they had did it before, so back then in prison they were still whipping people. They didn't stop whipping people in the prison system until the 70s, 1970 something. So all this time, they act like, and they make it seem like slavery had been over for so long, but slavery is actually still in effect today. And because I believe it's the 13th Amendment that says slavery is abolished except for punishment as crime. So today people are still slaves. It was commonplace during Jim Crow for people to be falsely convicted, or not people, black people, to be falsely convicted so they could have laborers in the prison system. Because what they would do is they would farm out the worker or the prisoners to go work on plantations, and that's where Bo would work. He would work on a plantation, and they will be whipping them, and just doing all sorts of kind of things. There's a book on this called Slavery by Another Name, and it's a really good book, and it covers how the state was involved in facilitating peonage slavery. That's what it's called, peonage slavery. And that's basically slavery conducted through the prison system. And but he had escaped, and which is amazing, to get away from there's so much you don't know, when you're in prison. You don't know where the keys are, you don't know where the guns are, you don't know where none of that stuff is. Oh, did you go join the call? Okay. Did it go well? Okay. Should I have been on the call?
We'll talk about it later.
Oh, okay. All right. And so we are trying to relocate as a family from where we all live in different places. Some of us live in Africa, and some of us live in Colorado. I live in Wisconsin. Another brother lives in Illinois. And have a sister in Kentucky, and so we live all these different places, and we're trying to find a place in the United States where we can all live together in the same city. And so we're trying to go back. We're going back and forth about what state to choose and how to, But yeah, we're trying to place great emphasis on family. And he.
That's with me.
Yeah, I got it.
So, but that's the call she just went on. What did you know about Uncle Bo?
I know he was a big eater.
He's a big eater?
Yeah, he come over to the house, to Robert's house to eat breakfast. He had to fix him half a dozen eggs for breakfast. Half a dozen. I said, Uncle Bo, the next time you come with breakfast, bring your eggs with you. Yeah, he could eat half a dozen eggs for breakfast. That's how much I know about it. And he got him a car. He couldn't drive with a lick. Boy, you know what driver ever seen? I don't know where he get a car from.
That's funny. Then they also said that he had because he couldn't or no they said but he would make his own liquor. Corn liquor. Like I couldn't imagine like how they talked about like all these different ingredients he would use and like one time his concoction or whatever fell over and it got everywhere and all this corn fell out and
the mash.
The mash fell out and the dog came by and ate it and the dog was drunk because he ate the mash.
Oh yeah, they were bad in my hometown. My dad, he would make liquor and homebrew.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were.
Okay, and this was during the time where what is it called? Prohibition, right?
Yeah.
So it was illegal.
Yeah.
Like, what was
JJ? Be careful.
what was that like to not be able to like drink liquor? Like all of a sudden they just said, right? They said no more liquor. Liquor's bad. You can't. No one can drink liquor, right? What was
some juice.
Or do you remember the reason?
I don't remember all that
Yeah,
shit.
you got some.
Yeah.
The reason why they came out with prohibition? But it was the law, right? That you couldn't drink. Do you remember when that law was lifted?
No, I
It's
don't.
organic.
No, I
It's all
don't.
natural.
Wow.
My dad, he had a white man and he was
It's real
dealing with liquor. My state was dry. My state was a dry state. No liquor. But Tennessee was the next state over, and they had to go to Tennessee to get the liquor, and they would bring it back to Alabama. See, and my dad, I don't know, he kept in touch with somebody, and he would have our dining room full of liquor, and he could give it to, it had a man come in town, and he, and pick it up,
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Our state was dry. There was no liquor in our state.
Wow.
But Tennessee, next state over, and it was wet.
Wow.
Yeah, nice.
What time is it?
My clock is up.
Oh, it's 1:53.
So it's 2. Is it? Oh, that's
It is straight time. It'll switch wherever you are.
How long has she been asleep?
For a good while.
What, 40 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah. She fell asleep. She started falling asleep on the floor. And I saw her like trying to sleep.
She's trying to fight it.
Yeah. Oh, she's trying to get comfortable.
He getting sleepy now. Oh, JJ getting sleepy.
Where did you get wet? You're not wet.
It's right here on my feet.
Yeah, be careful.
No thanks.
So we basically finished the interview.
Okay.
Did you have any questions?
No.
Kelly.
Well, thanks, Granddad.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing the interview.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, indeed. I got a card from my mother when they went on the trip.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, talking about how rough it was driving or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she had to drive quite a bit. Honey give out driving or something.
Yeah.
Your mother had to drive, so
Yeah.
that's unusual for her to be
Yeah. Oh,
driving.
yeah, when they were on that trip.
Yeah.
Up in the mountains. Or
In
something.
the mountains,
Yeah. She told me about that.
Yeah.
My mom and aunt went on a vacation after they left from seeing us. And there was some they had to go up like a mountain to get there. And I guess it was just a real rough drive. Like there was no like rail. And there was like tight turns everywhere.
Yeah.
And my auntie normally is the driver, but she couldn't
Couldn't handle it.
She was too
Had to turn it over to her sister.
too nervous about it. So yeah, they said you have to pay attention on that drive. Otherwise,
Who was it that went to Catalina Islands like we did?
Yeah, she got full big car.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe they did.
He syndicate something. He syndicate power.
I can't even remember the name of it. It started with an M. Something Mount Mammoth, something. Yeah, we're probably gonna get ready to head back. We got a long drive back home.
Yes, we did.
So y'all not staying the night?
I work tomorrow.
Have you checked out yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
For about how many miles? is it?
What was it? How many miles was it?
A little over 300.
Yeah.
That's no way.
Because we're like 3 hours from Chicago. So.
You were saying y'all think about relocating? And then
Yeah. So it's come down to 3 states. We did a lot of research, about a year worth of research, and looking at all the states, and we came down to Texas, Arizona, and North Carolina. Are the 3 states, and we have a list of requirements that each state needs to meet in order for us to, it to qualify for us to even like go there, and so it came down to those 3 states because of things like African American population, the size of the overall population. What else was on
The
there?
average home.
The average home price. We had like
schools? Was that
Right. Homeschooling laws.
Homeschooling laws. We had like 27 requirements, 27, 28 requirements overall that didn't have to be met, but we had 28 requirements, and those that met the most, obviously, are the top 3. So, yeah.
Or like weather. They don't want to. People don't want to live where there was winter, basically.
No more winter.
I still like the winter, but I got outvoted. So.
By like everybody.
Was it in regards for proximity to other family members?
No, that was not a requirement. What we're looking for is a city that can, or a state rather, a state with cities that can sustain all of us based on what we do for a living. So we have everyone in our family there's a lot of people that do different things in our family. So we have some in the prison system, IT, healthcare, teaching, beauty, cosmetics, college administration, more in healthcare, but that's probably the gist in consulting, the range of everyone. So we were looking for a city that can bring those benefits, had a good economy, crime rates were low, but those were their core requirements. So we want it to be a place where we can all come together, so we can develop a better community, right, and have a greater ability to influence our community, because we will all live in the same community. So we're not gonna live in like one person lives in this city, another person lives in that suburb of this city. We're all gonna try our best to live in the same community. So we wanted to. Another requirement was that the city we live in has to have so many people, at least 300,000, and then it has to be within a range of a city that is less than 50 miles away and has more than 500,000 people in it. And that was so that if one of us ever couldn't find a job in the city that we lived in that, let's say, had 300 or 400,000 people in it, or maybe 500, whatever it was, up to 800,000, that person would not move away because they couldn't find a job. So we could all stay together, and it would be an economic reason for them to leave. So they would just go to that next city 50 miles over, which is maybe an hour and a half drive. That's doable for at least some period of time until you can find a job back where we live. So that
narrowed down a lot of states.
That narrowed down a lot of states.
Those cities,
right.
Larger cities,
cities
like that.
South Dakota, North Dakota, were out the window.
Or even Atlanta, because Atlanta's nice, but that's all there is. Nothing else is near it.
Right.
Yeah, or even like Washington.
And there was a city. There was a city actually near Atlanta. It just wasn't big enough. It was like 100, and that was like 90,000 people or something. But that wouldn't sustain. Like, I need to work where companies are, Fortune 500 companies, large companies, to do the work I do, and to get the clients that I need to sustain my business. And then we have to live in a state where there's a population, or not population, that have some criminal-based industry, right? That's my brother. He was like awarded, for a prison, and his last job he was awarded. So that's kind of the realm that he's gonna work in. He's working to be going to school to be a lawyer. So there's just a number of things, and they had to have so many colleges in that state
In hospital.
in hospitals because we have people working in healthcare. So just a lot of us are in school, so that's another reason why we want to have more colleges and so forth. Some of us want to go back and teach someday and things like that. So,
Well, we're talking my mom into. She's pretty close to relocating.
Sure, to the right place.
And then Auntie will be right behind her.
Woo! Yeah, like 2 peas in a pot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but I think Auntie has to work on her job for a certain amount of years before they'll let her retire and get benefits. So, but if my mom were to relocate when Auntie reaches that, whatever that date is, she's pretty sure gonna be right behind. So.
So we're doing that again to because we want our kids to get to know one another. JJ has a cousin named CJ. It's his first cousin named CJ. Talks about him all the time. And CJ talks about him, and every time they get together, they really crazy about you. Like CJ's a year older than him, And one of the things that we recognize in our family, my side of the family at least, is that cousins don't really know each other. Like we have tons of cousins. We don't know any of our cousins, and our cousins. And I know my mom and dad for sure has invited lots of family members to come. Like even my dad's sisters, he invited them to come, his brothers, and they wouldn't come, and they're not like very close at all, So we want to change that and make sure that our children, they grow up to do business together, they grow up to work together, go to school together. They learn the same culture, together, and they develop a culture that is theirs and not one that was just given to us.
Because JJ's cousin lives in Denver, Colorado. We're in Wisconsin, and
we try to FaceTime and things like that, over video, and it's not the same. And we want to do business with one another too, and help each other grow, and then to bring that to a community and influence that community for positive changes and to build something. It's really important that we do that. So we figure it's difficult for the past 2.5 years. May is 3 years, so it's already been 3 years. Yeah, May was 3 years that we've been meeting on the phone and talking to one another every Saturday, and just trying to establish culture amongst ourselves, morals and values. Like we have a family motto that we say, and just create a new standard for us as a family, as a black family, and hopefully present that to other families as we fine tune it and say, this is something that you can do with your family to create a close bond and niche and so forth. Like JJ, come here.
No, I got it.
I want to show you something. I want to show you something.
No,
He can go back. Put it down, JJ. All right, let's show him the family handshake. You want to show him the family handshake? You ready? All right. You can say it, okay?
First, commitment.
So let's do it slow. Trust. So like you hanging from a ledge, you need trust to hold on to somebody. What's the next one?
Unity.
Unity. You got to be able to work together like a business handshake. What's the next one? Bond. Yeah, the tight grip that you don't let go of. It's a connection that you have over time because you trust each other and you've worked together. What's the next one? Unity.
No.
Now that
you just said unity.
no. Oh yeah, no. This is commitment, buddy. Yeah, commitment. So because you trusted one another and you've worked together and you formed a bond now because of that time that you've worked together, now you have a commitment to each other. And that commitment means that you will treat each other right and you will look out for each other's behalf.
That's about Mason. That's it all in the Mason.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I had came up with that. I was thinking one day about, because we also developed a family crest. So we have a family crest that has symbols and meanings behind it that represents us. And I was thinking one day, you know, like we want to put that crest on a ring and pass that down to family members. And so as we grow, and we will grow, she's still sleeping. As we grow, yeah, she looks like she's like so tired. As we grow, you know, they're gonna see each other one day somewhere, and they're gonna see that ring. They're gonna recognize each other, you know, and they'll know to look out for one another, you know. I didn't know any of this either. That the Masons did this, but I thought, you know, that's something I would want for my family to have, you know, and Cody's family and our families together, you know, and my brothers' wives, and then my sisters, as they get married, their husbands would come in and they would have this. And I thought about that handshake, and I thought about the things that you need to make a strong community. And you need trust, you need unity, you need a bond, and you need that commitment to make it flourish, you know, because ultimately, I would love for one day to see another Black Wall Street. You know,
Absolutely.
You know, I've created a website called teachmetopass.com, and it's my company's biggest project to date, and it's a website that is an open market educational website. So anyone can come and teach, and they can come and teach anything. It could be about African history, it could be about business, it could be about project management, it could be about how to start your own business, it could be about yoga, it could be about whatever. But it's all about African Americans or Africans teaching other African American people, and us educating ourselves.
That sounds like
so that, you know, we can learn from ourselves. Because, you know, one thing, you know, coming to education, the public education system, is that I didn't learn anything pertaining to Black people, and I mean nothing, right? So I didn't know about that there was a Black Wall Street. You know, they never talked about that, even though it was probably the most successful community as a community in America at any time, right? Even over white people, right? They had over 600 businesses in Black Wall Street, which was located in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And it wasn't the only quote-unquote Black Wall Street, right? That became a nickname of it. But there's one in Greenwood, North Carolina, I think it was. There were like 3 different communities that have formed and became very big and very popular amongst Black people. There were others that tried, but they were prevented by Caucasians, right? White people that came and terrorized them, told them they had to leave, those type of things. Right. But Tulsa, Oklahoma ended up having the same thing happen to it, and that's how it got destroyed. There's a number of documentaries on it, and there's one in particular that you can even watch on YouTube for free about Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's the first U.S. City that was bombed from the air, and the only other city that was ever bombed or they used a plane to do damage in the United States was 9/11. So it's only happened twice in America, and the one time it did happen was Tulsa, Oklahoma, when they dropped dynamite from a plane to blow up the buildings. Oh no, there's one other time that was with the move. They used they dropped a stick of dynamite on the MOVE organization, their building in Philadelphia. That happened in the 80s, I believe it was. But yeah, so you know, Tulsa, Oklahoma was